All right, welcome back to another edition of Making a Difference. Building wealth, creating financial future, making a difference. That's what this whole broadcast is about. And before we get into today's conversation, of course, I've got my buddy John Paul. He's with me, JP, as we know him. He's going to help me discuss the question: do I still need life insurance? And most people are preparing for their death. That's kind of an oxymoronic type of statement. Life insurance that prepares you for death. But we'll discuss that in later on in the broadcast. But before we go into it, I would ask humbly, if you would please, make sure you click the subscribe button, the like button for the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. If this represents value to you, make sure that you do that for us. That helps with the algorithms and it makes it easier for future viewers to be able to find these videos. Okay, we are a new power generation. We are in this world to help make a difference, to give you the financial literacy and know-how and understanding so that you can navigate your own personal freedom path. Okay, again, I have my guest with me today, John Paul, JP. He's on board, on tap, ready to unload. JP, what's happening? Again, let me just turn your mic on. I don't know why I do that every time.
That's all right. Well, I thank you for having me on the show. I love talking about helping someone else achieve financial education. I think that's part of the world that we are in is if people could just teach other people, then we'd be a different world.
If I knew what I know today, I mean, we can all say that, but the reality is the things that are available today were available then. We just didn't know about it or couldn't afford it. But now things are much more within our grasp, both on knowledge base and financially. They are a lot more accessible now than they were back then in my earlier years. But nevertheless, I would be in an entirely different tax bracket, preferably zero. But it is what it is, and that's part of our mission to help make sure that we tell as many people as we possibly can. That's why it's so important for you to share this video, click the subscribe button and the notification so you'll be reminded every time we put out a new video. But that's why we do what we do. The founder, Chris Lopez, has this deep, abiding desire to help make a difference. I can't, between he and JP, when I first sat with them and I was like, are you guys for real? Dude, I mean, what are you trying to sell me? All right, you sound good, but the longer I've been in relationship with them, the more I'm realizing they really want to see you blessed. They want to make sure that you know and are made aware of the things that will help impact your financial destiny. And primarily, as we said in the last video, a lot of what we talk about are not necessarily for the multimillionaires and the billionaires because they already have advisors and consultants and things of that nature. But what the people we want to talk to is middle class America, right there in the middle. You're actually the ones that keeps the wheels of the economy going. And so we want to help make you aware of how you can set yourself up so that you can enjoy your retirement when that retirement day comes. So again, JP, thanks for joining me. Let's talk
Yes.
about, do I still need life insurance? Do I?
Michael, that topic. Do I still need life insurance? I think if you did a poll, right, of 100 people that are between age of 65 and 85, the answer would be yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because their brain is programmed because I want to leave my family some money. That's exactly what I hear all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, life insurance, first of all, doesn't pay until when?
Until end of life,
That's right. So
oddly enough.
there has to be something that's going to happen for that policy to get paid, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have to have died so it can get paid. Well, that means that person that's paying the policy has to keep on paying the policy until they die.
Right, right.
So what's their financial benefit? Well, Now that I put it like that,
I can't
there's no
really
financial
see.
benefit.
I mean, yeah, they're
So
literally
what I
preparing.
love, go
Well,
ahead.
in my estimate, they're actually preparing for the ones that are left behind,
That's
more
right.
so
That's
for
ex-
themselves. And that
self.
while that's a noble and a praiseworthy thing to do, but what if you live?
And that's exactly what I was about to say. And the reality is if that person that was between that age, if they contacted an insurance guy, the insurance guy would be like, "Oh yes, I get to write a burial policy." That's exactly what's going to happen. They write a policy they're going to pay on until they die. In fact, a lot of these policies that they're writing are a cash value policy, a universal policy, a flexible policy, which has something called cash value in it. But what I love about this, Michael, is that we actually had a I guess a friend of ours that we met with, and they were contacting us for the purpose of needing insurance.
Right.
And so, me as the educator, I ask all these questions like, well, how's your health? And their answer, like, oh, well, we're in great health. Our parents have lived a long life. And I asked, I said, well, what is your current age? And they said, I'm 73 years old. I said, okay, well, the unfortunate part is our belief is buy term insurance. That's our belief. It's never going to change. So I explained them, well, you can't get a term policy after a certain age. So that means they can't qualify for insurance because they're too old. At the age of 72, you
Right.
no longer buy insurance on term. The only choices that person can get is a whole life policy, which means it's going to be a lot of money in insurance premiums. And the only way that policy is going to pay is they have to die. So I said, let's put together a plan. And she says, well, what kind of plan would you recommend? I said, well, because you told me that your health is very good, I don't think writing an insurance policy is the best plan. She said, well, if I were to die, how would my family get taken care of? I said, well, probability tables tell me, which is called a mortality table. That's how we that help people with insurance get our numbers. It tells us that a man is going to die at the average age of 85 and an average age of 88 for a woman. So she's 73. So if she lived 15 years on the average, that would be how long I want to do an investment. So I then said, how much could you afford for a policy? And she said, $100. Well, first of all, to get a $100 policy, she'd get a $10,000 death benefit for $100. But she has to pay on that policy till she dies. And then when she dies, their survivors get $10,000. So what we did was we said, why don't we set up a mutual fund that averages between 8 and 12%. In fact, we have a great mutual fund that averages 9.8% a year. And so that's the fund I recommended to her. So I said, if we did the numbers and you put $100 a month into this investment for 15 years and you died at the age of 88, you'd have $48,000. And guess what? She didn't have to die to get the money.
Did not.
That money is now tangible. So in the event that there was anything that needed emergencies, needed some money to pay for some additional, whatever the situation is, she can go in that account and she can take the money needed and still keep the $10,000 there for the death benefit. So it wasn't just a life insurance policy. This now was an investment that she will have until she dies. And if she lives longer, which probability tells me she's going to, it will be worth a whole lot more than a life insurance policy. So remember, the insurance sales guy, they want that person because they want to sell a policy that they have to pay on till they die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that because at some point in time, if you have enough money, you don't need life insurance, you're self insured.
You're right.
And that's what I like more than anything. I don't want someone to rely on the life insurance all the way up to age 100. In fact, Michael, I think we've done this for a while now. We've seen this. Life insurance policies now extended the time to 121 years old when they mature.
We can call you Jesus at that point.
That's right. So
You're
Jesus is going
eternal.
to be there because 121 years old, if they live that long, then they'll pay the death benefit. So what has to happen is I always tell people sit down with a registered rep, not a life insurance salesman, a registered representative who helps people with their investments because they go under different guidelines and regulations
Right.
than an insurance guy sits under.
Yeah. Our thing is as a matter of fact, that's our motto and our mantra is that we're not in the business of selling anything. We're in the business of
Yeah.
education. That's what we do. We
Yeah.
provide education so that you, the consumer, can, and I don't even like that word consumer, but that's what we've
No,
got.
I don't.
But
Friends.
you,
Friends.
as our friends,
That's
can
right.
make an informed decision about your own personal financial destiny. Now, the dirty little secret that maybe most people don't know when it comes to life insurance is that the older you get, the more expensive the insurance becomes. And if you've got that little cash value thinking that it's just accumulating and growing, what you're not aware of is oftentimes what's happening is they're dipping into your cash value to pay for the increasing cost of insuring you. Did you know
Michael,
about that?
you are so right. Oh my
Hmm?
goodness. You are spot on when it comes to an insurance salesman selling a policy. Because that's what they did, Michael. They didn't educate. Because if you would have told someone that was going to happen in the policy, they wouldn't buy it. But
More
the
than
problem
likely.
is the insurance guy doesn't make any money if they sell the right kind of insurance. It's just what it is. They make money off of lack of knowledge. And in fact, the Bible says the reason why people perish is lack of knowledge.
Bamboozled because of the lack of knowledge. That's just the reality of it. You
And
know,
you said it.
mhm.
We do the right thing because we want people to have a freedom of choice, not pressure salesmen or you have to buy this or this is all that's available. I love the opportunity to give someone a choice to make a decision, a well-informed decision, so that way when they make the decision, they made the decision because they had all the details.
Right.
And that's what life insurance should be. Why should I buy it? What's the purpose of it? Do I need it? All the questions that someone would have to ask, they would actually talk them out of life insurance.
Literally, if they told,
Literally.
yeah, if they heard all that's entailed, and most people don't take the time to really scrutinize their insurance policy, but you would be, in many cases, you would be astonished, uh, maybe even insulted by some of the fees and costs that are associated that you may not even be aware of. For instance, the very fact that the older you get, the more expensive the insurance becomes for you. Most people didn't know. I just pay one. I've never got an invoice for increased cost of insurance or coverage. I never got an increase on my premium. It stayed the same. Of course, it stayed the same because they're deducting it from your cash value, which is supposedly a future value that it presents for you in those later years, the retirement age, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right. And you know, Michael, I just wish it was different today. I wish people took the time to educate people about the potential stuff like that. But unfortunately, it's not about education. It's about I've got to take care of myself. And if I'm going to sell something, I'm going to sell something that's going to pay me more money. And instead, it should be like, I wouldn't own that. And if I wouldn't own that, there's no way it's good for someone else. So that's the mindset that we should take is If we wouldn't own it ourselves, then it's not good enough for someone else.
If it's
And
not good enough,
I say things like this: I wouldn't give it to my worst enemy. And listen, people, if you're watching the video, I wouldn't give a whole life, universal life, flexible life, index life policy to my worst enemy. I would only give them what I own on myself, which is a term insurance policy.
mm,
That's what I would do. So if you go by a policy and you want the truth, call Michael Norman. He will tell you the truth about what it is you have and what it is you want. And from that, you will have all the choices on what you should provide for yourself and your family.
yeah,
Not a product.
I'm with you on that 100%. It's all about gaining enough knowledge about a particular thing so you can make an informed decision. That's what a president does. And when he hires his cabinet, I'm not going to get into politics right now, but the idea is that a president doesn't have to be very smart because
No.
he's supposed to surround himself with advisors that are at the top of the game. They're the most informed and educated there is, so that he can then make the most sound decision that best benefits the country. So that being said, we were talking about in our last video, we mentioned latte and how some people think, it's I can't live without a latte. I got to get that. And I made the comment that, hey, if you took your latte money and just kind of broke away from that and saved that, you could really begin to position yourself in a very secure financial situation. So to that end, I want to just play a quick video from our website. By the way, speaking of website, if you go to newpowergeneration.us, we've got a plethora of information. I don't know anyone else that provides all of the insight and information and tools that we do. I mean, literally, we are basically your DIY. You can come in and study for yourself and get all this information. But we're going to tell you about the life goals analysis. But let me just show you this little quick video from our library about the latte. You'd be interested to know. Check this out.
Sometimes the ideas we take for granted start to fall apart when we take a closer look. Which of these personal finance myths have you heard? Myth 1. Giving up my lattes today will let me buy that Porsche tomorrow. The latte factor claims that by relinquishing small expenditures and investing what you would have spent on them, you can accumulate wealth. Diligence can make a difference, but it'll take more than forfeiting your macchiatos to make it big. This strategy only stands a chance if you actually invest what you save consistently over decades. Easier said than done. Myth 2. A bank savings account is the most prudent place for keeping your money. When it comes to protecting our cash, many assume a bank savings account is the most secure place for it. But did you know money kept in savings can actually lose its purchasing power over time? In recent years, savings accounts rates have lagged behind inflation, so they might not be as prudent as you think. The best strategy will be one that's designed to fit your time horizon, risk tolerance, and personal goals. Myth 3. A penny saved is a penny earned. You may think this phrase is reminding you to be frugal, but what Benjamin Franklin really said was, a penny saved is 2 pence clear. So what did Ben mean by that back in 1737? By not spending a penny to buy an item on credit, you'll have 2 pennies free and clear, one for the item, one for the interest. Saved from the clutches of debt. Ben Franklin was encouraging the good people of his day to avoid owing money. Whether you're spending, saving, or sipping a latte, enjoy it.
Well, there you have it, folks. A penny saved is a penny earned or penny cleared. So the whole idea is preparing for your financial future, thinking ahead. I think one of the challenges for us as Americans, being so blessed, so prosperous, so overwhelmingly blessed, even the poor do well here when you compare it to actual poor nations and countries. um, that it kind of lulls us into kind of a level of hypnotic state that we don't really pay attention to all of the things that are going on around us. And as such, being a consumer nation, we're about consuming it, not saving it.
That's right.
You know, and I think this is one of our missions to go into the world and tell as many people as we possibly can the benefits of preparing for your future. And while you're young, yeah, you're thinking you're going to live forever. And obviously, we all have an expiration date. We just don't know where it exists. But at the point of perhaps we live instead of dying as soon as we thought we would. What if we live? That's always on my mind. Is yeah, you can buy life insurance and prepare for your eventual death. But what if you happen to live?
Yeah.
What's going to happen if you live? And it would be a shame to be alive and wish you were dead because you're in such financial straits. I know
And
that's
that's where you're Michael. You're so right. Most people in America are insurance poor. What that means is they've been sold multiple policies per household. Think about that. An insurance agent shows up at your house, sells you a policy when you're a certain age, then shows back up at your policy to house to sell you another policy because you have kids. Then it show up another time to sell you a policy. So I've seen families have 3, 4, 5, 6 policies for 2 people. That's called insurance poor. Because all the insurance guys think about is selling a policy.
Not meeting
Remember,
a need.
when you not meeting a need, that's right. So we have to identify it. But it's like if you need someone to identify the need in your life, they can just show up and do that. But why not get all the details so you know which is the right thing to do? I think that's part of the problem is nobody knows what to do. So they assume that the agent's doing the right thing for them.
Right.
Because they have the license. So why
Right.
should I not? It's like a doctor. Why would he lie to me, right?
Exactly.
So why would the insurance agent lie to me? Well, because the insurance agent is in the business to make money.
Yeah.
A registered representative is usually in the business to help someone not be sold. But unfortunately, you have a lot of bad people out there. Not saying every bad company's bad. However, I know what we do. I know what our philosophy is. We don't sell on the first appointment. We don't sell products we don't own ourselves. We only show them the best what they deserve. And we do that through our company financial plan called our financial needs analysis. And the reason why I say this is because everyone needs to know what it is they need, not what they can afford.
Mm-hmm.
If they need a certain amount of insurance and they can afford it, that's what we supply. Not how much are you going to have to work with. We want to have a plan. So we can put that plan together through our financial analysis on how to figure out how much insurance you should need and how much you can afford based on your spending and stuff like that. But then we can figure out when you don't have the insurance, how much money are you going to have when you're older? Look at that, Michael. In one conversation, I did a policy and I also helped them put together an investment strategy so they won't need the policy at the same time.
That was impressive. Yeah.
That's what they need to have.
And what I liked about it, what really impressed me on that call or visit, was that you were actively listening. Nobody would have heard it. If you just came in thinking, I'm going to sell this, I'm going to sell this, I'm going to sell this, you would have missed all of that. You probably would not even paid attention to her story. But you listened actively and prescribed a strategy that fits her need. And in the end, it actually saved her money. So again, we're not in the business of making sales. We're in the business of making a difference. And the only way that you can actually make a difference is by sharing knowledge. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And if you want to overcome, if you want to succeed in life, you must gain this knowledge and this insight. I personally didn't know anything about this, and particularly as it relates to the traditional life insurance policy and all of the other annuities and things that are connected to it and that sort of thing. And I know how you feel about annuities, and we won't get you on that track. But 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 we've been sold these things because they spend millions of dollars through advertising and marketing to condition you. That's what television is all about. It's about programming. That's why they are called television programs, so that they can program you into going out and getting the product that they're trying to get into your hands so that they get the commission. Now, of course, um, we want to provide a service in which we do get paid, but nowhere near what we could if we had
Right.
very nefarious agenda about just making sales. We could all do that, but we're in it. I'm a pastor. I'm a minister. John is a minister in his own right. We're all about the business of making a difference for the masses, particularly those of you that are in the middle class sector of this country, because you guys are the ones to help keep the whole country. You literally keep the wheels from falling off the economic wagon of the country. Uh, well, that being said, JP, we started out talking about and asking the question: do I still need life insurance? Well, I think the answer is we have to have a conversation.
That's
We
right.
have to
You
sit
can't
down
make a
because.
decision over a computer. You got to have a conversation of purpose.
Mhm.
So reach out to Michael Norman. Subscribe to the channel. Send us an email. I want information about, do I need insurance?
Right?
Give us a call. Michael's numbers is on the website. The greatest thing is call us because you want to learn, not because you want someone to sell you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go to our website, www.newpowergeneration.us, and subscribe.
I
Do the
want to.
life goals analysis.
Speaking
Watch
of
more
life goals
videos.
analysis, yeah, check this out. Speaking of life goals analysis, I mean, how many people are going to provide you with this sort of information to help you really strategize for your own future? Without them, it's one thing to say, hey, let me help you strategize. It's another thing to say, hey, here's the tools that you need to strategize. Go do it for yourself, you know. And as you said, you can find out if you need more money for your savings. You did such a good job there last time, JP. Go ahead and tell them about this.
The whole purpose of that is let me just tell you. So, 22 years ago, before I even learned, I went to a company called American Express, and they were to charge us a few $1,000s to get a financial plan. And that's where the start of my life was. So when I met my president Chris Lopez, we put together our financial needs analysis, our life goals analysis that you were just looking at. It'll tell someone exactly how much they should have in an emergency fund, how much they should have for life insurance. If they have kids, how much they want to plan for their kids to go to college. If they want to plan when they need long-term care. If they have a disability. If they have debt. If they need retirement planning and how much. Those key things is what makes up everyone's financial house in the world. So that way everyone's house is built the same. The difference is we're all at different stages of what we need. So you can't make a decision over the phone or a computer. It's got to be made kneecap to kneecap, Zoom, whatever the situation is, so we can make a good decision to help you.
And we make it very convenient for you. If you don't, you live maybe a little distance, and we have an office over near the Millennium Mall here in Orlando, but maybe that's a little farther than you want to drive. No problem. We can get on a Zoom call, and it's just like being there. We have the whole presentation. We can show you these same information, or of course, we can come to where you are. It's just a matter of what best serves you. Okay. But
Yes.
you'll never know until you call, make the call, go online. First of all, go online, check us out at newpowergeneration.us. Go around, kick the tires, check out what's there, see what's happening there, and do the life goal analysis to find out what you actually might need. That way, when we do get together and we can talk, you can speak from a more informed position, and you know exactly what it is you need to do. And that will help make everything better and go smoother for you. So we're excited about your future. We're excited about the things that are available to you. And we're excited mostly about sharing those things with you so that you can share them with your loved ones and take advantage of these opportunities as they present themselves to you. All right.
Exactly.
JP, well, we're just about out of time, but any last words you want to share with the people?
No, thank you so much for listening. And if you want information, again, subscribe, and we will give you all the information so you guys can have a choice,
Yes,
not a sin.
a choice, not a sale. There you go. All right. Well, that wraps it up for this edition of Making a Difference, brought to you by newpowergeneration.us. Make sure you go there, check out the information there. There's a plethora of videos. If you like that latte video, the Ben Franklin thing, all of that, there's much more. You think you like that, there's a whole lot more there for you. So make sure you go to newpowergeneration.us. And for more information, you can contact me. The information is in the description below. Michael Norman, 407-616-2227. I'll be happy to reach out to you, set up a time where either myself or the both of us, both John, you might get a twofer. You never know. Just give us a call and we'll find out. Okay? All right. All right. It's been a pleasure. Again, John Paul, thank you so much for spending this time with us, helping to share this good information concerning financial freedom and literacy that we're making available to the entire nation. Again, go to newpowergeneration.us so that you too can make a difference. We'll see you next time right here on Making a Difference. Yours truly, Michael
Thank you.
Norman, JP. We'll see you next time. All right. Have a great day.